Okay, welcome to the second ever podcast, Nerds with Grit Hockey Podcast. I'm Tyler Garrah, along with my nerds, Aaron and Josh. Once again, we're doing a playoff edition. We started off with the last game of the regular season in our first podcast, then launched that. Now we're already on to game 2 of a few of the series. What night is it? It's Monday night. What's the date today?
We're going to date Monday, the 22nd.
It's the 22nd. Okay. So we're just going to jump right into it today, and I just want to tee it up with today is we're just going to unpack the first round matchups. As I mentioned, there was a couple games that were on the game 2 that finished up tonight. We're going to start in the East, and we're going to finish in the West. The way the East has played more games so far, right?
Yes.
Aaron, thank you so much, buddy, for setting up everything. A little change of scenery as well, too. Josh's roommates had a family member come in, so we're kicked out of the basement indefinitely. An indefinite suspension only after one game, one podcast.
We didn't last very long.
It was short-lived. Maybe we'll return.
Yeah, we will. We will return as well, too. And we're still working with some mic connections as well, too. Josh has still got the PlayStation headset.
The one...
Should I say PS5 or PS4?
Well, I guess it would work for either, but I got it for my PlayStation 4, and it is falling apart just like my last one did. My last one was... I did wear it for a while with, like, some duct tape, and lasted me long, but we don't want you to have to use that forever, especially because you got some pretty good takes, I think, even for a Calgary Flames fan.
Well, we'll see how I go throughout the show. We might lose me halfway through if I move my head too much, and the headset just breaks some head.
It's your hair. You're looking like an extra nerd right now. You're looking like the gamer that just, like, removed his headset just so he could have a conversation with someone outside the world of the gaming. But he's got a Phillies shirt on as well, too. Like, what? It's actually a gritty shirt, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the best NASCAR in the league, so I had to get a shirt.
Eat that.
Right, yeah, that's a good take. Like I said, Flames fan, great take. And, I thought it was going to be, like, some sick player like Rod Brind'Amour, who you didn't know was a Flyer.
Yeah. Hurricane legend, man. What are you talking
He also started off and hanging away in Philly. He was, like, there... like the Legion of Doom, like the Eric Lindros years and everything. Maybe that shows your guys' age a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm born in 2000, so Eric Lindros played a lot.
What year were you born?
For me?
2000.
You guys are both 2000. This is perfect. I knew these guys were just going to be absolute perfect to get. We've been talking about it last time how you guys met for the first time.
We didn't.
In his basement, and I set this whole thing up, and I was late. So you guys had like the icebreaker, like, first date, like, hey, how are you? Remember when we used to play on the same hockey team together?
Yeah, we had to bring up old coaches and be like, did you play with this guy?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
What's that ultra nerdy thing you guys have, though? You were talking about, like, Pikachu or that, what is it?
Pokemon?
No. And I'm sure you guys got lots of Pokemon talk. No, that thing that you guys play online where you, like, make people's stats and stuff.
Oh, he's talking about Puckdoku.
Yeah, that's right. Are we planning to do that this one, or will we do that for another?
We'll do that.
We're not doing Puckdoku, but you guys showed me for like 2 seconds, and the nerd meter was just going off on that one. And the best was you guys were like, Josh mentioned Puckdoku, and Aaron's like, oh, you've heard Puckdoku? And then it's just like, wow, nerd alert.
It's literally... any one of my friends, if they went like, oh, do you like hockey? And I'd be like, really? And so, yeah, basically that with Puckdoku with Josh, because we're on another level.
What Puckdoku is, you're a nerd. That's fair, Steve.
I think hockey fans in general know about Puckdoku over the last year.
Oh, yeah.
Only the nerdy ones. I got a bit of a nasal thing going on here as well, too. My allergies are just, like, popping off. I was, like, scared to take an allergy pill at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock at night. Beautiful day in British Columbia. We got the Oilers game on in the background, which is 2-0 right now for the Oilers still.
Should be, I believe.
The second goal lines going to start like that. But we'll save that for when we get to the West. We're going to start in the East. You guys ready to rock and roll?
Oh, yeah.
You guys got your tidbits and your stats and stuff like that? Josh, he's going to tell us all about his day yesterday where he just sat on the couch and watched hockey all day. Let's just kick it off. We're going to go right into the East, and Josh made a good point. He wanted to talk about the Carolina Hurricanes Islanders right away with 3-0 in the first game, but just like unpack this terrible. Tell me how you found out as well too, because it was pretty interesting.
Well, I found out that through Twitter, how I find most of my information. That's basically the only thing Twitter is good for at this point is sports. And I saw someone say that the Islanders had more game misconducts in the third in the game 2 than they did shots. And I thought that was very funny. I also didn't believe it for one second, so I had to look it up. And it turns out the Islanders did, in fact, only have one shot in the third period, and they had 6 game misconducts, all within the last minute of the game.
Patrick Waugh just turned them loose after they blew their 3-goal lead.
I mean, if you blow your lead, you got to blow the gasket and just start throwing punches.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch the highlights on that. It should be a very interesting last 40 seconds to the game.
Rod Brind'Amour in his prime, Patrick Waugh in his prime, they separated from the pile of fights, and they meet at center ice. Who's winning that fight?
Oh, Rod the Bot.
Yeah, I got to go with that.
Absolutely.
Right by Waugh. Right by Waugh. Are you serious?
100%.
Wow.
I'm a Rod Brind'Amour as Jack.
Guy. I've met him like 3 times. They even interviewed him in between periods at a Chiefs game when his son Skylar was here. Super nice guy, but I am not discounting Patrick Waugh. He has 2 of the best possible goalie fights of all time.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like goalie fights are a little bit different because you got the goalies with all that equipment on there. It's tougher, of course. But, I mean, again, this Rod Brind'Amour is just a massive dude.
Of course
he will beat the snot.
He didn't throw down back in the day, though. But he also he was hitting the second fight in the scrum, and he's throwing. You know, he's got that crazy strength for sure.
I will say that if I was going to pick which one I would probably want to fight, I would say Rod, though, only because I feel like he would let up. He would have that.
Yes.
Whereas Waugh would just unleash, and he would not have any mercy. That's my guess.
Punches while you're still on the ice. When the linesman got you.
What would happen is you'd be begging for mercy, and he'd just go, I can't hear because I've got my 2 Stanley Cup rings plugged in my ears.
He's got 3 though now, doesn't he?
We're talking Waugh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had one with Montreal. And then 2 with Colorado. So, yeah.
2 with Montreal.
Did he have 2 with Montreal?
Yeah, he had 2 with Montreal.
Oh, then maybe he has 4.
How do you guys not know this? I'm pretty much...
We're in the year 2000.
I was talking about more on Warren. So
if we get that wrong, I'm going to feel terrible. So just, I want to stay there for a second, though. Is there any chance, especially after this blunder, that the Islanders don't get swept? Where does that leave, Patrick Waugh, Lou Lamoriello brought him in?
And Patrick Waugh will be fine. He'll, you don't hire a coach, halfway through the season, have him turn their season around, because they were very good down the stretch. I believe they were 8-3-2 with
that playoff.
13 games there or something. But though Patrick Waugh will be fine. He'll be here next season. Lou Lamoriello, well, he's old. He might retire if they get swept. I'm just looking to see who will play the net. It's Varlamov again. Varlamov has started the first 2 games.
Really?
Well, Varlamov was the better goalie this season overall.
You're right. Yeah, he was.
However, I think it might be time to put Sorokin in for Game 3. You've lost the first 2. I don't think Varlamov, from the looks of it, hasn't played bad. But it just might need a change of net that that sparks the team.
Yeah, I mean, Sorokin, I think I said it in the last episode, but I'm a big believer in him. I'm sure that his teammates are probably a big believer in him. They've seen at the couple years that he's been here how good of a goalie he can be. And as for what you were saying, Tyler, or what you were posing as a question of whether or not they would get swept, they were leading this game 3-0. The team had a mental lapse, and Carolina kept on them. but they did go up 3-0, and we weren't even sure that this team could score. But it seems that they have enough scoring, and so if they can clean up their defensive mistakes, whatever they looked like out there, and maybe Sorokin starts, maybe he steals one. There's still not for them to necessarily win, but they are going to go back home, and they could make it a 2-2 series. Who knows? Like, I think last year, different teams and different series, but everyone had the Rangers sweeping the Devils, and then the Devils went back home. I think, yeah, because
the Rangers went up 2-0. Everyone was like, "Oh, the Devils are done." In goes Akira Schmid in New Jersey, and the Rangers fell apart.
Yeah,
Name again?
Akira Schmid.
Where is he now?
AHL?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. He was kind of struggling this year, but pretty much all their goalies were. I was a bit surprised he didn't get when he starts, but they did bring in a couple other goalies, right? So, but
I like that point though. That's a really good point. Is there anything else you want to wrap this up with this series? Because I'm willing to just say it's going to be over in 4 or 5. Maybe the Islanders are split here coming back to Long Island, but I think it's.
I still think they could get 2.
Yeah,
I would give it
really
possible. I wouldn't if they go through Game 4 and it ends up being a 2-2 series. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I thought with my audience on, I would bet Islanders they probably start Sorokin in Game 3. I wouldn't be shocked if he steals them one of Game 3 or 4. I think they go back to Carolina down 3-1. I think that's it.
Yeah. I'll give you that. 5 games. I just wanted to just throw this in here, a little closure on the beginning of that series. Of course, Carolina's up 2-0. 12 shots by the Islanders, and they had 1 shot in the third. They had 7 in the first, 4 in the second. You are not winning games with 12 shots.
Not when you turtle like that.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't work. Well, it almost worked, actually. But they gave up 4 goals within the last 3 minutes of the game.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's
one of them is the empty netter, though. He's
one of them is empty netter.
There's a horn. And we're assuming it's 3-0. We got on the background, the Edmonton game. We won't get there. Obviously, we want to stay on track. I'm ready just to wrap this one up, though, because we said 4 or 5. We'll give the Islanders, we'll give them 1 game in Long Island. They're not winning anymore.
Win one for their fans. Make it worth that paying.
How about the Carolina, though? They win 1 Game 5 at home, then they do that crazy little celebration stuff.
Oh, the Storm Surge. Are they doing the Storm Surge in the playoffs? They must, right? They've been doing the Storm Surge.
Haven't noticed.
I kind of don't like that, but I also think it's kind of cool. I'm like, if that even makes any sense.
If their fans like
it's
it,
right. Yes.
then that's what it's for.
Fans. And that like 11 o'clock at night, watching the sports highlights for the 3rd time, and it just shows up.
That's fair.
Rangers, Washington Capitals. Game 1 is in the books. Rangers 1-4-1. And here's another one. I'm just being like, okay, I think it's fair to assume Rangers are going to win the next game. And then I think we're like at the same place with this one. Like, if Washington's going to win, they're going to win at home, which means it'll probably be over in 5.
I agree with that. I think the Capitals actually played okay in Game 1. I don't think the Rangers were the better team. The better team won. I still have it down as a sweep, but I do think the Caps are a little bit better than people think, just after that first game. But yeah, that Rangers power play is very good. I mean, we didn't talk about it in the first episode.
I think Tyler was talking quite a bit about how good their power play was, or at least both their special teams.
So what I was going to say though was that Artemi Panarin had, I believe, there was 123 points this season, and that's huge. And all I see online is Matthews with going for 70, which is fair. That's an incredible chase there, and Kucherov and McDavid both getting 100 assists. Also,
the guys that were mainly considered for the Hart, right? That was the big discussion.
120 points. That's
goals, 71 assists, 1 short
3 goals too.
Incredible season. And no one's talking about
it. You can't be off by 3 points.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Anything to add to that, Aaron, on the Rangers series?
Yeah, I mean, similar thing. I mean, I think I had a feeling that there's a good chance that the Capitals, I mean, I think there is no way that they were going to win this series. Like, there are some series, again, I've said that I could feasibly see. I just don't know if they quite have the roster. The goaltending is, like, I like Lindgren. I actually think he obviously had a great regular season. He took the starting role from Kemper. But, you know, even with Kemper in Colorado, like, neither of these goalies has really been able to steal games. And so it's not even necessarily a situation like the Islanders with Sorokin where you go, oh, well, they could steal a couple games. This will be, you know, the Capitals got to play the style they've played all year, which is very mistake-free hockey and keeping them to the outside. But the Rangers are very lethal, and I think they're going to take a team like this. This is probably the most lopsided series in my books, is what I'm thinking. So, yeah, I would probably sweep or, you know, if they win a game, then that's good for them, right? But
good on them. You didn't get swept, but I don't have them winning one game.
Yeah, it was good they made the playoffs just because they weren't expected to, right? I don't think so. I didn't have them making the playoffs.
At the beginning of the season, no, because while Philly was killing it and the Penguins were better down the stretch, Red Wings were hanging in there. The Devils should have been better.
Injuries killed them.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to talk about teams that were not making the playoffs.
Well, I was just gonna say the Caps they made it in. They couldn't for them.
Same with the Islanders. Same with the Islanders. But they're the bottom feeders. They're going to lose in 5.
The difference is I still see. I just want to like push back on the Islanders slander, because I think, again, in my books, I see Carolina as the Cup favorites. They are possibly. They could be the best team. I think the Islanders got a mismatch. I actually thought about this the other day, but if it was Islanders-Rangers, I might have picked or if that was a series, I would probably pick Islanders. Like, I think the matchup too. I think the matchup is exactly the kind of team that, you know, the Rangers. Again, I said this the last episode. I'm just not huge on the Rangers. I think they got, you know, a favorable matchup. And I'm not saying that they couldn't win it all this year, but
I want to push back since we're pushing each other around here a little bit. I like that. Charlie Lilligren, he had 6 shutouts this year. When you were talking stealing a game by a goaltender, a shutout in the playoffs is obviously a guaranteed win. Maybe a couple goals saved. Like, even tonight, when I watched the Leafs-Boston game, big saves by Samsonov. Yeah, we'll get there. But he didn't steal the game in my mind. But for me, I just don't think the Rangers have the ability to lay eggs and, like, get shutouts. So I think, like, this is not really going to be a run-and-gun series. But if Washington thinks that they're going to successfully run-and-gun with the Rangers, I just think that's just not going to be a thing. I want to check on the power play goals as well, too, because I did. So, yeah, 2 power play opportunities in Game 1 for the Rangers. They went 0 for 2. Washington had 4, they went over 4. So 6 power plays, not even that much. I don't feel like that's that much. 6 power play opportunities, no goals scored there. But for me, well, how are we not talking about Ovechkin yet? I watched him twice on 2 of those 4 power plays, staying for the entire 2 minutes.
That's right.
And it was just like, it wasn't ignorant because it's Ovechkin. He can do what he wants. I get it. Even though playoff goals do not count for the overall goal record that he's chasing by Gretzky. Anyone know how many he's supposed to have?
My dad had mentioned the other day that he's 41 away.
41. Yes. Perfect. I love it.
I don't know if that's from tying or...
But Ovechkin, it's like still at this point, for me, just watching one game, and I did watch them in their hunt near the end, their last few games, but to me, it's just kind of like, let's get Ovechkin the puck. Let's let him take 4 one-timers wide on the power play. Like, let's do everything for Ovechkin. Let's not even bat an eye that he's out there, you know, for a 2-minute and 22-second shift. Like, and that's so to me, it's kind of like a little bit of world news. And even as I'm talking right now, I feel like Washington has a better chance of getting swept than the Islanders. Anything else to add on to that? Because I'm ready to push on from that series.
Yeah, I think we can move on.
Yeah, the only thing I'd want to mention with Ovechkin there, he did not register a single shot game 1, which I believe is.
He's only done it 3 times. Yeah,
time.
Him playing on the couch at the same time.
Is it playoff games or career?
Yeah. only ever not registered a shot in 3 other plays. I think so. That might have been his 4th then, right? Because the stat was in 3 other games. Gee, remember that when he was just getting beat by the Penguins every year?
There's a good chance that it was during that time. Yes.
I'm not going to save this one for last, but it's time to talk about it. I said that I think this has all the potential to be the best series in the first round and my Leafs. And already, like, I'm in the shower in between periods after period 1. And, like, I kept thinking about the thought, like, my goodness, I can't wait to see this on the podcast today. It's already game 2. I should say it's only game 2, and I'm already thinking we're in a must-win situation. Like, if we're down 1 game, we laid an egg. Like, I want to tell everyone as well, too, is the Leafs lost by 4 goals in game 1 against Tampa, and they came back to win 3. I'm not saying they're going to win 3, but, like, they were already in a must-win situation after game 1.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm not a Leafs fan, but I wasn't really concerned. Maybe I was a bit more concerned if they weren't going to have Nylander. But they're in Boston, right? Then Boston, for whatever team they're playing, they're always going to be the favorite on home ice. They could probably be the last place team in the league, and in that arena, they're not going to be a team you beat. So
stupid announcer. No one's more of a homer than that guy.
I believe he's retired.
Jack Edwards is retiring.
After the season, I think, like, respectively, I'm in the world of broadcasting, but it's like everyone's okay. The fact that he's retired. Even Patrick and Maroon. Like, they shared a pizza together when Maroon came into town.
That's good.
Pizza in a couple of years.
That's good stuff.
With Jack Edwards, though, he's retiring, I believe, for part of health reasons.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, tiring.
Absolutely, he's a homer, but he has a long career. And you're not wrong. A lot of people don't like him calling games, but I mean, hey. That's a long time calling games for his favorite team. So,
yeah, I mean, so before saying like Toronto again, I just personally wasn't concerned. I thought that again, it's one game. How quickly do team? And I know it's like, oh, they lost 5-1, and you know the team was never. I guess they've never in the last couple of years. It looks like it's 4-0 Edmonton.
Wow, it sounds like it's 4-0 Edmonton.
Toronto had no games this year where they've been leading even in the regular season. That's what I read earlier. Is that
season again? Oh, against Boston.
Yeah, this year because the season series is 4-0 Boston, and they weren't leading for a second in any of these games so far. But even then, in the playoffs, it's a whole different ball game, and all it takes is one goal, and then all of a sudden you're in the lead, and then you win the game, and it's not always that simple, and it's Boston, it's a tough team, but Toronto's not just going to get swept here. I don't think you had the feeling that was going to happen, Tyler.
No, my goodness, they're not going to get swept. I would have never admitted it, even if I thought they were. I would have people like calling for my head that I'm going to share this podcast. I got a bunch of friends and family going to listen to this, and they're Leaf fans. And are you kidding me? Not a chance. But I wanted to talk about, though, Austin switching up their goalies. That's kind of...
Did they do that?
Yeah, they started Linus Ullmark for game 2.
You know, I was impressed with my little son, Luke. My 10-year-old son noticed that right away when he walked in. What is it? Swayman and Ullmark.
Yeah.
So Swayman won game 1.
Yeah.
That's what the analysis were saying before the game as well, too, because it was kind of like a well-known fact that they were going to swap goalies. And, like, what if he gets like a 40-save shutout? What do you do then? He won 5-1, and then they go back to the... But Boston's goalie was really good tonight. Lundmark was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 3-2 game, right? So that shows...
I believe the third goal was scored with like only a couple minutes left, correct?
Really?
Well, it was scored 12 minutes into the third, so just over halfway.
Yeah, when Tavares tied the game, he took an extra second and did like a 3/4 clapper instead of not even like a half clapper. And that was just like, yes. And that to me, man, I just love Tavares so much. And he always just gets a rap like, oh, he is overpaid. Yeah, he's probably overpaid by a few $1 million. But we all knew that right when we signed him. It was just like, it was like a perfect timing for him for the Leafs team, and also was just like, yeah, we're gonna be down the road talking about how this guy's maybe overpaid, but yeah, he had a hat trick in Game 2 last year when they won and came back after losing by 4 goals in the first game against Tampa Bay. He's the man. He's awesome. Then he's playing with grit too. He's playing like grittier than I have ever seen him. And I don't know about you nerds, but I like the grit, and I certainly like it coming from our captain. Yeah, you need to go anywhere else. But I hate Brad Marchand too. Like I hate that guy. Like me and my son were just calling him a rat. Like all over the place in the living room, like late in the game. I was like, did you watch the game?
I was out of the house until like
the back of the leg, and it was kind of just like, yes, shoot, that's a penalty, but I'm kind of okay with it. And like,
yeah, those are the ones where you're like, okay, do that, but don't do that while the ref's looking.
And you do feel really good if your team like has a strong kill there, and it's like a moment. It can be a momentum builder that way, and then you're also like you said, yes, we gave him a little chip in the back there. So
speaking of Chip, you guys watch Coach Chippy?
Oh my gosh, I love him. I show him to my dad all the time.
Thing going on.
Oh yeah,
he is hilarious, and he does Austin Matthews. Hey Poppy. He's got the little black electrical tape mustache. That's funny.
He is great. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get as famous as that guy one day. Shout out to him. He's hilarious. I'm like 90% sure he's Canadian, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely. If he's not Canadian, I'd be shocked.
I'd be shocked.
I would be like. He's a huge Leafs fan, clearly. But like, I know Leafs fans are everywhere.
You think he's a huge Leafs
Absolutely.
fan? Is he really?
100%.
Yeah. He makes awesome shots, like when he makes fun of Nylander and stuff.
Oh, yeah. But
you gotta be a fan
to make fun of your own team.
Follow Coach Chippy on Instagram and Facebook and involved with these other social media platforms. Are we ready to get out of here? Because I mean, you guys know how I feel.
Well, do we have a feeling on where the series is going to go, or are we just like assuming? Yeah, they tied it up
6 or 7.
Yeah. Probably.
Last year they won 3 games in a row on Wave, which is would they not just say catching lightning in a bottle? I mean, they couldn't win it at home, right?
They were 1-5 at home last year.
No, they won 6 in Tampa.
No, I'm saying their record at home in the playoffs last year was 1-5.
Oh, 1-5. No, they said they won it in 5.
No. They won it. Yeah, they ended up in 6.
I just wanted to bring it up to everyone who lost by sport goals in the first game. Then,
yeah, no, that I wouldn't be surprised if the Leafs were able to win this. I don't have them winning it. I really don't. Because it's funny to pick Boston at 7 against you. It's funnier to pick that. But you just look at this. I know the regular season is different from the playoffs, but Boston won 4 times against them this year. They outscored them basically 2-1. They outshot them by a ton. Like all the stats were heavily
perfectly good goaltenders.
Exactly. Like I think Swayman's going to go back in Game 3. He's going to pitch another 1-goal game in Boston.
Shutout.
I almost did, but you know what? It's like, would you be shocked? Swayman's one of the best goalies in the league.
Yeah, well, Toronto can score. I would actually be curious to see if Swayman does win that. If they do. Go back to him
with them.
Yeah, because they did that last year where they kind of stuck with Ullmark and then they didn't go to. Did they go to Swayman for one game?
I think they went to Swayman halfway through Game 7, and it was too late.
Yeah,
Ullmark was playing hurt. They should have put Swayman in.
That's what I had. Yeah, they should have done it earlier because they had the lead in the series, and that was the time to do it. I agree with that. So that was what I when we brought that up with the whole goalie switching thing. I'm not surprised they did it this year in the playoffs. Like you just go back and forth. But I think now that you have a win and a loss, and for one each goalie, you go back to Swayman. If he wins, you just run with him because that's what most goalies do, anyways. At this time of year, not many teams truly go to a tandem. It's more you do ride the hot hand.
Oh, and you look at the relationship Swayman and Ullmark have. You think Ullmark's going to be upset if Swayman gets the net? No, he's going to love it. He's going to
be upset in his natural way.
Sad that he is not playing, but he's not going to be like, oh, Swayman shouldn't be out there. He'll be so thrilled.
He'll be happy for him. Little hug at the end of the game. Doesn't matter.
Not weird. Great hug.
Amazing.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm ready to get to Florida. Let's jump on a plane and get down to Florida. Game 1, 3-2 victory. Both power plays scored. Like, this easily could dethrone, in my opinion, the Toronto-Boston series, because we kind of already discussed the other series, we're in 4 or 5-ish.
Yeah.
I think the Leafs are in, and Boston are going to go to 6 or 7.
Yep.
This one could go to like Game 7 overtime, and no one would be like, "Oh, I didn't see that."
Yep, absolutely. I think the Atlantic series are the ones to watch in the East, because again, you have Toronto-Boston, which is just such a fun playoff matchup. It's great. And then you have the Battle of Florida, two teams who really do not like each other and are both exceptionally good. I just thought of that the other day. I just realized the last 4 Cup finalists for the East have been coming out of Florida. That's 4 years in a row.
True. Yeah.
So they've been on an impressive run there in that state, and I think if Florida's going to win this series, I think I have them in 7. It could be Tampa, it could be Florida in like 6, or like maybe Florida just dominates them enough to win in 5. But it's going to be a fantastic series no matter what.
Yeah, I think with how close these two teams are, maybe Florida has the edge in depth, but you talk about with how tight this series will be, it may not be who's going to carry them over the top, but really who's going to make, the first mistake in a game, or who's going to make too many mistakes in a game, and which team's going to capitalize on that. And I think that's what Florida did last year. They might have caught some teams off guard. I'm sure
they catch some teams off guard.
Yeah, with a team like Tampa that again has been there in the mix for a while, and being in the finals the last 3 years before that, they're a team that is well coached, and they may be the team to catch the Panthers off guard a bit. Maybe their Panthers guard probably isn't down, but maybe they think, well, we can shut down Kucherov, and then that's all you got to do, boys. But there's
more than that.
Lots of guys on that Tampa team that can score. I like. So yeah, I would probably say again, I would have Panthers in that series.
Yeah.
And probably in 7.
I'm Lightning all the way, and I don't to suggest they're maybe gonna catch them off guard. I know what you mean by that. But, Steven Stamkos going assists in the first game on 3 shots, and points chipping in there, Kucherov's chipping in there. I mean, Point and Kucherov were -2. I just don't know how they match up. I don't know how well of a team Tampa Bay matches up as far as, line matching and, protecting their own zone, because, Florida's got tons of depth, right?
Yeah.
They really do. And I mean, Tampa Bay doesn't have as much as they used to.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly got some guys that are not on their team that have been very successful within the past 4 years or the past 3 years. And those guys just probably just left and got paid, or for whatever reason, they just went to other teams. But that's one thing, though, that you got to keep an eye on is the power play, though, guys. These guys have triggermans on their power play. And for me, it's just Florida. I mean, they have these players that you constantly have to remind yourself that they have on their team and they're being successful. But Reinhart has to keep scoring. So he really, really does. And so does Verhaeghe. And Lifton and Barkov chimed in for 2 assists, and Kachuk had a goal and assist. That's why they won that game, because the top 4 or 5-ish guys scored and were in on it.
I mean, both teams had their top guys score, right?
Yeah,
it was a pretty even game for the most part, it looks like.
Yeah, because what was it? It was Reinhart, Hagel, Verhaeghe, Tkachuk, and Stamkos scored.
Those are all top 6 guys, could be on their power play, right? If they're not.
Traded power play goal, they did get each.
Yeah. So Tampa's came with 10 seconds left when they were down 3-1. That's good for them. But
I'm glad you said that, because I didn't know that.
That is a good point.
The good news for Tampa, though, if you're a fan of Tampa, Andrei Vasilevsky, 25 saves on 27 shots. That is for a .926 save percentage. That is
playing well.
Good.
Yeah, that's what you need. They're going to need him to be probably their MVP.
Oh yeah, He's like over the last 4 years been arguably the best goalie in the league.
Yep.
Not even arguably in the playoffs. He's won them like series.
We're talking about Vasilevsky.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he had a bit of like a weird year. Like he wasn't like
started hurt, and then
he is pound to pound, in my opinion, in the past 4 years. How long has it been since Tampa Bay got beat out in the first round by Columbus? Has that been 5 years?
2019?
29.
Because it was the year
lockout.
It was the year before.
On the COVID crap year, right?
Yeah.
So we've been
And then they won again. And then they lost in the finals.
lost to Colorado.
And then we had
And last year they got beat out by the Leafs.
Yeah.
And Vasilevsky has been stellar all the way through. He was even not that bad last year against the Leafs. The Leafs just kind of got the team under siege a little bit. I honestly think who's going to take that away from Vasilevsky's overall? Like, he is probably the best goalie in the league. And I remember I said that as well, too. If he, like, plays absolutely fabulous, like, he's better than Bobrovsky. Like, Hughes could be the factor of this series.
I agree.
He could really be Tampa Bay's best penalty killer. He could be their MVP, and he could and can steal games. I'm talking shutouts. He could put up a couple. He could steal a series, even better.
I will say that if we did have any Panthers fans listening in, Bob did have the better season.
He did.
But again, I will always say this.
Yeah,
the
that's
playoffs
not a
is a
bad
different
year.
season.
Let me ask you this right now. If the Olympics start tomorrow and somehow weird Russia's in it, who's the starting goalie? It's his crease.
Well,
Vasilevsky, Sorokin, or Shesterkin.
yeah, I would
It's
actually
so funny. Bobrovsky was so good, and he this season
wouldn't be in.
probably not even on.
Say that again. Vasilevsky,
Sorokin and Shesterkin. They're the Vasilevsky and the
Did
two
you
Rangers.
tell me Sorokin? Where is he playing? He's the
Islanders. He's been their backup. No, he's their starter.
He should be their starter. Varlamov just had better numbers.
Varlamov.
I think that's
2 games.
That's a Patrick
I know,
Law
because
thing
that's what
going
you were
with the hot
saying.
goalie.
That's what in my mind. I was like, wait a second. You already talked about Sorokin, and he's the backup, and he's out spotting Broski on Russia.
Was just doing the hot goalie thing.
Spotting.
Yeah. Well, and Waugh, to be fair, would know Varlamov from his time in Colorado as well.
True.
He would have experience with him.
It's a good pickup there.
So he would probably be like, okay, well, if my number one isn't playing very well, why have my 1A over here who I know and is playing well? I'm going to go with him.
If you could go to any one of these games, which series would you pick? You want to pick one series, and you can only pick what you can pick the game. I don't care which game you're picking, but what series you go. We know where I'm going. I'm going to the Leafs in Game 6, winning at home. That's obviously my pick. Where are you guys going? What series? Which game?
Oh, you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say because you know what's there. You know if it's
Boston,
I'm gonna say
and
Boston
win?
7. No, the Boston's winning 7.
I am mad at you. That's
Be mad all you want. I am going off the fact that they haven't won in
you
Boston.
didn't have to do
in
that.
the series.
Where are you going?
1959.
I really like players on
the
both
ball.
Carolina and New York, so I'm gonna go. Do I want to go to Long Island or Carolina? Maybe
pick MSG. I'm gonna go to MSG to wrap up Game 5.
arena-wise, it's either MSG or TD Garden, but personally, I'm not really a Rangers or Caps guy, so I would do that.
Mad at you. I'm also going to be. I'll be at Game 6, and I've already won the series, so they'll be in Game 7.
You'll be at TD Garden waiting for.
Game 7 tickets to the game that even happened.
I'll be sitting in the stands like, all right, guys, whenever you're ready to start, let's go.
Whatever, man. So that's a nice wrap. How are we doing so far for time on the Eastern Conference?
We are just under 40 minutes. It's going to hit 39:50 right now.
All right. So stay with us. We are going to cut these up as well, too. So
That's true.
put them out in East and West. But let's just jump right into the West. We're going to start because the game's on right now. It's 4-0. Edmonton Oilers.
And Mikey.
Yeah, you're right. It's 4-1 for the Oilers. We have heard 4 goal horns. We got it on way back in the around the corner. Hyman started it off. How many assists? How many points has McDavid got?
McDavid has 3 assists.
He has 3 assists. That's exciting. And Hyman's got 2 goals.
2 goals?
Picking up right where they left off.
Absolutely.
This for me, I mean, I went Edmonton pretty hard in our first. I think
we all did.
Did we?
Even me, I hated myself.
You didn't go hard on Edmonton, did you?
Well, I didn't go hard on Edmonton, but I did. They were the.
I think they're going to go to the Western Conference Finals.
I do have them
If
going
they
to
play
the
the Leafs, I have to say that everyone's like, "Oh, this guy now for the Leafs." If they play the Leafs, that would be insane.
Man, I don't.
If I'm going to lose to any team in the finals, me being a Leaf fan, it would be Edmonton.
If the Leafs play the Oilers, you'll have my full support for the Leafs, man, all day.
Really? Yeah. Well,
you get it.
I would also be a Leafs guy, and I'm actually like I love a lot of the Edmonton players. I just as a team, I don't want Edmonton to win. I want McDavid to win. It's so weird. I want McDavid to win. I don't want Edmonton to win.
Exactly.
Does that make any sense?
No, you're actually I'll agree with that. You are absolutely right. I can tell you from my personal experience when Luongo was on the Canucks, hated him, couldn't stand him. I was like, I wanted nothing to do with him. He goes back to Florida. I'm like, hey, this guy's great. And I think it's the same. It's the same thing with some of the Oilers guys. They're still there for now. Who knows what if they win it all, then I would expect that McDavid and Draisaitl will stick around. They keep losing in the early rounds there and not showing up.
You think they're just gonna jump ship?
I think Draisaitl could.
I'm not even ready to talk about that right now.
No,
Let's just stay with the fact that this is another 5er for me, over in 5. But I truly believe I don't even like LA. I just can't like them. Like it's one of those things where even when like betting on them this year and stuff like that, it's like they like lost money for me because they like lose games to like Phoenix somehow. And
why did you bet on Dave Riddick?
I don't even know.
Save Dave.
There's no way. Yeah. If Riddick comes in at any point in this series,
you'll get decimated.
Sweep. Yeah, it's over.
Well, you know why you say that, and you're probably right. Riddick again has a 920. I think he had a 920 save percentage. He had a really good save percentage.
Did he play like one game for the Leafs?
Oh yeah,
and got lit up.
But no, for the Kings this year, he's actually been very good. He played like 24 games as like a 920 something save percentage. And he has been in his career decent against the Oilers.
Did you give him the name Big Dave?
Big Save Dave? No, he's Flames fans, Dave. Flames fans.
Big Save Dave.
That's where it originated from. Because he came up and he made big saves, and his name Dave.
I need to say that if we're talking still about this series for a little bit, I think that I like a lot of LA's players.
I do.
And they play a system that is very frustrating.
I want you to name me 6 of the LA Kings forwards.
Kopitar, Byfield, Kempe, Danault, Arvidsson, Trevor Moore, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Blake Lizotte.
You didn't even say Kevin Fiala, literally.
And Kevin Fiala, because they shove him down on the third line. That's what I mean, though, when I said this last episode, is don't be surprised if they catch the Oilers off guard. Yeah. All they need is for Pierre-Luc Dubois to not be lazy. That's all they need, right?
True. It's funny. I saw him play live this year. Historically this season, just been lackadaisical, defensively been mediocre, but occasionally does something good offensively. He had multiple offensive turnovers in the game we saw, but was flawless defensively. It was hilarious.
He sat on my bench all year on a fantasy league that has way too much roster space, and he just sat on my bench all year long.
This would be a year that I wouldn't have had him on my team at fantasy. It's especially just with them having so many forwards and playing
them for me. So,
oh no, really?
I had him on my team.
I couldn't make the draft. Well, what did I have? I had something like crazy important, and I got Josh to go. Yeah, I got Josh to go to the draft for me.
Wow, that's awesome.
Meet a bunch of random dudes. It's fun though. I gave pizza money and everything. And those guys are good dudes. I can't figure that league out though. It's a weird league, and it's a league where like the roster locks on Monday, like you can't move or anything. Like that's why I think Dubois maybe got on my team on my start for that week for like 2 weeks. Sorry, and that's probably because he had like 4 games. But well done. You really answered the bell with that for the LA Kings to name their 6 forwards. I think you named like 8.
Yeah, they made and
Kings are a good team.
and you saved me with
They're not
Fiala.
a bad team. They're like no one's team.
I don't know. Like, they had a fantastic start to the season, had a horrible winter, and
Changed
fired
their
their coach, and then got better. Like they've
Who
been
was the
playing.
coaching change?
McClellan?
There was McClellan. I don't know the name of the coach they brought in.
I think it's Josh Holden. I think his first name is Josh.
I think you're right.
And shout out to you, Josh.
Yeah,
And
coach of the King.
I think he was actually, I don't know if he was, I don't remember him being a head coach, but they had said that he was a coach in Chilliwack.
Really?
Yeah. We might need to look that up, but I think that's what I was
Well,
told.
Josh did
When the
his
Bruins were
laptop
around.
tonight.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
up with someone said today that like Evander Kane was like possibly hurt.
He has a sports hernia. Apparently he's been,
What's a sports hernia.
that's a great
Google
question.
Sports hernia. I thought this is what I think a sports hernia is. I think it's just like it's like a borderline hernia. Like you can't do anything with it because it will like pop this debris a hernia. I don't know.
Supposedly,
Because sports is obviously very active on your body, so I feel like it's like a pending hernia, but like you can still get surgery on it, but then you can't. Josh, what is it?
So I have the LA Kings coach here. It's Jim Hiller. No, this is more important. This is actually more important. The LA Kings coach, Jim Hiller, and
okay.
they have a little blurb from NHL.com. Kings scored 68 power play goals under his coaching there, 4th most in the league, while the team's power play percentage finished the year at 25%, tied for 2nd best in team history.
Wow.
By the 1979.
This is the guy they fired or brought in?
This is the guy that's the current.
You were talking about the guys that they fired.
That former Oilers coach.
Okay, I want to know what a sports hernia is, please.
You figure that out. I just want to point out that supposedly Evander Kane's been playing with this the whole year. That's what I had read.
Well, yeah. I mean, the guy's got to pay his bills.
Sports hernia happens when the deep layers of your lower abdominal wall or the tendons that attach muscles to your pelvis weaken or tear.
Oh,
That is not pleasant. You're saying he might have been playing through that all season?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Oh man, I don't like the guy, but that is rough.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
pelvic region?
Yep.
Lower abdomen.
That's what it
region.
says.
Let's get out of there.
Wait. One point out.
Yeah.
That, you know what that means?
Two, by the way.
Means that if you had him in fantasy and were disappointed by him this year, when he gets fully healthy, he'll actually start hitting again. So grab him next year in round 12.
Yeah, you're in a hits league,
true.
are you?
I love banger leagues.
I'm also in a hits league. But
Yep. You're right. Kings made it 4-2.
Now.
I love
we
Kempe too.
sewed everything up in that series or what? I mean, it's game 1.
It's for a
It's gonna be 6-3 final for me. That's what I think. How much is left in the period?
If we're
6-3, that's what I said.
if we're moving to the next series, I just want to say that I would probably have it being 6 games, maybe 7 for Edmonton.
I have Edmonton.
Wow, Edmonton can't have it go 7, can they?
But they have the last couple of years. The last 2 times they matched up in the first round, it went. Did it go 7 both times? It went 6 for sure.
Yeah, it definitely went 7 for one, and I think that there was one that went 6, but it was like kind of like how Vegas beat Edmonton last year, where it was like the game 5, they blew it, and that's where at Vegas won the next game. So I think
McDavid in game 7
It's not a fun concept.
he's scary every game.
Yeah. I think the Oilers are going to win. I would not be shocked at all if the Kings do manage to come out on top. I don't think either of their teams great.
I'm going 5 Oilers. I'm sticking on the 5 train.
Even more, I think this is an even more crazier take than you talking about the Islanders being rough. Because this is LA from.
What did I say? The Islanders are rough?
Well, you said that they would get swept, and
Pretty good, yeah.
Which I mean, it's feasible, but like LA in 5, I don't think so.
They're too good.
They're like the Islanders from a couple of years ago.
I'm wrong. That means we get to watch more Connor McDavid.
Especially if you said that their power play since their coaching change has been 2nd in the league.
I believe it was 2nd or there was high. They scored
25%.
in the league.
We got to get here. We got to get here to a game that is on live right now. It showed up on my phone. It was 4-2 for Vegas, and then as I opened it up, it literally clicked to 4-3. There's 6.5 minutes to go. It's 4-3. We can even throw that on the TV as well, too. But Dallas and Vegas, this is like going to be a war. I think this is the series. No, but then there's Colorado.
That's the thing. All the series in the West are probably going to be very good. And
tell me what you told me right away.
What, that Mark Stone scored?
First goal of the
series. Mark Stone scored a minute and 23 seconds into the game. I'm sure a lot of people are very upset about that.
That's great.
Oh, absolutely. I haven't actually been on Twitter since the game started, but I'm very curious to see the reaction. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be everyone posting screenshots of Vegas's cap friendly, how they're spending $97 million or whatever it is on their roster.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they're going to show cap friendly Mark Stone's injury history.
Yes,
and when he comes
back
back
every time he's activated. Funny. It's so funny. Because is it suspicious? Absolutely, it's very suspicious. I think you have to take the doctor at his word that like he had a lacerated spleen. That just saying the words lacerated spleen sounds very painful.
I mean, he probably did.
He probably
was probably ready to play hockey like 3 weeks ago.
You're right. You're absolutely right. That is exactly what happened.
I mean, I'm not doubting his injury, but the fact is, yeah, they're just like, hey, Mark.
But my response to anyone who's like, oh, it's cheating, it's breaking the rules. It's not against the rules, and your team can do it too. So do
exactly.
If you don't like it, then complain to the NHL some more. See if they do nothing.
It's not new news too.
No.
Like what was the other really big
Tampa did it when Kucherov.
Yeah, Kucherov did that
out
for pretty much the entire season.
The entire season came back. That was the year they won the cup against the Habs, right? That was their second cup.
The Habs were the second one. Yeah. That was their bubble year. Yeah, that sounds right.
Look at Eichel. Man, everyone's like top guns are putting up points. Eichel, 2 points. Stone with the Gino.
Jake Ottinger with an assist.
Yeah,
which he actually does that.
Also grabbing a goal. Why not? In Dallas, 4-3. How much time? There's still 6 minutes left. But yeah, let's get to Dallas because like the days of like Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin being their best players are over.
You say that Jamie Benn did score.
I love Jamie Benn. I
good Victoria boy.
Jamie Benn, I really do. But the days of him being their best player and Seguin are over.
Agreed. But that's why you have guys like Jason Robinson who scored, Logan Stankoven who got the assist on that, Wyatt Johnston with an assist on that. Dallas's depth is very good. I have them winning the series over Vegas. I have them in 7. It could go really well. Could go either way with these two teams. But Dallas has a ton of really good young players and surrounded by some good vets.
Can you guys tell me what I need to know about this Stankoven kid? Because he just like kind of blew up in like the world of like social media and stuff. He won Kamloops. He's a Canadian boy, 5'8", 170, and they probably sounds like they stole him in the second round.
He was
overall
a guy that a lot of people, similar I think to DeBrincat, maybe not as much hype as DeBrincat had because DeBrincat was on the Erie Otters with McDavid around that time. But Stankoven in his own right had quite a bit of hype. And I think a lot of people, once again, would look at him and be like in his draft year and say, man, that kid is going to be a big-time goal scorer in the NHL. And even despite his size, I think lots of fans believe that because he's just been so electric through everywhere he's played. I think he's been a point-per-game player, even in the AHL.
Yes. I have his stats up.
Okay, yeah. Well,
do you want me to go for him?
Go ahead.
So per Kamloops there, he in 2019-20, he had 59 games played, 29 goals, 19 assists, 48 points. 2020-2021, he looked like he might have been hurt. He only played 6 games, but had 10 points in 6 games, 7 of them goals. 2021-2022 is where he really kicks off. 59 games played, 45 goals, 59 assists, 104 points.
Crazy.
2023, 2022, 23, 48 games played, 34 goals, 63 assists for 97 points.
Is that in the AHL?
That's the WHL. AHL, he came in this season, had 24 games, 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. So not bad.
But he didn't light it up because his hype coming in was like, it was pretty huge.
Yeah, because you saw, I just read his stats from the
top. I know, but I'm just saying coming, he is out of the AHL. Obviously he was lighting it up. And well, what I'm getting at, I guess maybe everyone was like, oh, this is like a kid with tons of potential coming on a really good team. Because like there was a lot of hype coming out about this guy
when he started. Yeah,
what, it was like a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah, I had it backwards because typically I expected them to put the team they played with more recently at the bottom on Hockey DB. Those numbers that I read for with Dallas for Texas, their AHL affiliate, 47 games played, 24 goals, 33 assists.
Yeah,
I was looking at that. I'm like, man, those numbers are
that sexy. You read. Those were the Dallas
NHL numbers. With
he say potted 7 goals,
6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points in 24 games.
Well, yeah, that's really good.
That's for your first.
There's a lot of teams that would like one of the top prospects to come up and put up 14 points in 20 plus games. Yeah, no doubt. Okay, the NHL stats make sense because this guy was coming, like I said, he was kind of just blowing up all over the place. I remember those guys like on Spit and Chicklets. I say those guys, if like everyone doesn't know, they were just going off about this guy, and he was really pumped up in the world of social media. I mean, we have just taken a lot of time on this Stankoven guy. He's going to score like a hat trick now. Let's get back. Let's get back to overall predictions. It's still 4-3.
Still 4-3. Looks like there's 4.5.
So we got Ottinger, and then what? Hill's going. No, it's Logan Thompson. It's Logan Thompson is going for for the Knights. I want to dig into his stats this year. So he played 46 games this year, 25 wins, 14 losses, just the one donut, 2 exact 70 on the goals against average. Save percentage is just over 900. Like, is Aiden Hill like hurt or something?
Aiden Hill was hurt for a lot of the season.
But he's keep coming up with goalies.
Yeah,
Thompson was their starter the year that Hill won the cup. I just want to clarify that.
No doubt.
So they're both very good goalies.
Oh yeah, I love them.
And
they're a goalie factory. They just find these guys.
They keep doing it. It's the same thing they did in their first year when they made that run to the cup against the Caps. Is during the regular season. I think they used like 7 different goalies.
Yeah, they used a lot. Season. I remember they used Oscar Dance, Maxime Legacy.
Yeah, this is a situation where like the goalie
everyone kept getting hurt enough. Yeah, everyone kept getting hurt for them, and it was funny because I think the meme was like, okay, like Fleury's out, whoever their backup was out. Like I think even Malcolm Subban was out for them.
Right,
and
he was.
Yeah, I know. It's like, all right, this go
for them. He really did.
Whoever their like WHL player that they called up or whatever was like, people were like, okay, now here comes, he's gonna really save the Vegas goal season, and by save he means tank it so they can actually get a good pick and do this properly. But they just kept winning. And that's what they do. That's what they do. Plug and replace.
Yeah, I know. They could go down as one of the most consistent teams since they came in, however long ago that was. So there's 2 minutes left in the game. We shouldn't go past that as far as time. We've done a lot of not talking about the actual series. A little Stankoven, a little bit of goaltender review. What is your guys' predictions on that? Of course, the home team is Dallas.
Home team's Dallas.
And Vegas is a hard place to play. I mean, I've been to a playoff game there. It is buzzing. Vegas, if they can get a split, is that like, well, right now they're winning the game.
Yeah.
If they can win 2 games in Dallas, there's going to be some brackets that were broken for sure pretty early on.
I want to say, I'd be curious to see, like, most places I saw, a lot of people have Dallas going pretty far. My dad actually made a bracket where Dallas is in the finals and winning. But I see flaws in this roster. Like, I agree how good they are. I agree how good they're going to be for a long time with all these young players. Like you said, Ben and Sagan, not even just like not in their prime anymore, but like Ben kind of cost them in their game 6 last year.
You said this the other day. That was sketchy for sure.
And Robertson, there have been games where he seemed inconsistent. I think there was a game that they, one of their last games against Colorado, they lost like 6-3, and he had like one shot and was a minus player and I think he played a decent amount of ice time, and maybe it's just like they're playing all their guys and they can run with any line whenever. But like, who's going to be their MVP this year if it's not Jake Ottinger? Because he was hot down the stretch. He was also not at the beginning of the year. Their defense is probably my favorite thing about them, is they're so deep. I love the Lindell. I love the Tanev. Obviously, Heiskanen's a beast. But their forwards are very deep. I like a lot of their forwards. My favorite forward is probably Wyatt Johnson. I'd love to talk about him another episode. But yeah, I think they're, and Hintz is great. Dallas, to me, if I look at Dallas and Vegas, I don't know how most people favor Dallas over Vegas, is what I've seen. I personally have Vegas. I think my bracket has them winning in 7. I wouldn't be surprised, especially now. Obviously, it's a 1-goal game.
It's an empty net right now. There's a minute and 30 to go.
I honestly, I could see Vegas winning in 6 now.
Do you think that this Dallas team is going to go down as a poor man's Vegas? Like
no.
This season? I'm not going to end in the next 4 or 5 years. Because no one can say anything negative about Vegas. They just checked so many boxes off. They came out incredible. They went to the Stanley Cup, right? And then they went deep again, and then they won it. If Dallas gets beat by Vegas in 6 or 7 games, 7 games for me is kind of it's anybody's world.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if Vegas beats them 5, I keep saying 5. This is not a 5-game series worthy. The other ones I mentioned were worthy. But if Vegas wins in 6, is everyone just going to be wow, Dallas is everything that Vegas wants to be?
I don't think so, because again, I think Dallas is an excellent team. Vegas is also an excellent team. It stinks for Dallas that they were the best team in the West this year, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
And their reward is getting to face the reigning Stanley Cup champion.
I know.
Well, but the thing is, with how the points work out, that is 1 versus 8. It's not them getting screwed by the...
I was going down that.
Yeah, I know you were.
Aaron and I hammered it out one morning. And he's no matter what, Tide, it's actually the same. Toronto's still playing Boston, and the Rangers still playing Washington.
East is the same, West only slightly changes.
There's a little mix up. I think I'm ready to get away from this. Sure. Like I said, that I'm watching on my phone right now. There's a minute and 20 seconds to go. It's empty net. And some people wouldn't go past the end of this game. But my final point is, Stone just missed an empty net. It must have been his leg or whatever. What was he hurt with? What was he even hurt with?
Lacerated.
It's my spleen. I wonder if he must be wearing lacrosse kidney guards. You actually see those a lot more these days as well, too, guys. Think about how many cross checks get given out. And now you see these guys, they have the lacrosse kidney guards attached to their shoulder pads. That's actually really cool to see some of these guys with their equipment behind the scenes and in the room. Some of these shoulder pads are 10 years old. Crosby's got ancient stuff, but that is a big thing. They now wearing kidney guards in hockey. I mean, why not? You got to step in front of shots as well too. I want to jump into Colorado and the Jets, but I just want to ask you a fair question, because I think Colorado, you're going to sit here and debate with me that Colorado is not as good as Dallas. Let me re-ask that question. You're going to tell me Dallas is better than Colorado as the straight up about it?
No.
No,
absolutely.
You're such a nerd. Anyway, give me some grit, Aaron.
I want to say, I'm not changing anything, okay? I just want to be clear. I'm not changing anything from the last episode. I had Dallas in my top 4, and I left Colorado out. The only reason, and I said I love Georgiev, but the way he's played, unless Justus Annunen comes in, which I think he was sick, and that's why he didn't back up last game. So unless he comes in and is able to steal the show a bit, or at least play like above average, right?
NHL caliber level.
Yeah. Then, I think Winnipeg will have the edge in this series.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I like Colorado a lot more, especially ahead of Dallas. But because of that, and the fact that if you go Georgiev against any other goaltender right now, like is
he the weakest goalie in the West?
He's the weakest goalie in the playoffs.
It's probably between Talbot, Georgiev, and Lindgren.
NHL caliber numbers. Talbot on the regular season was like a 9.
I think
14 or
I
something.
will say. I think when you come into teams that bring in the trap, it does inflate numbers a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Colorado can win with this guy, though, then everyone's gonna be like, wow, they're just such a horse.
They're going to have to outscore their problem. They're going to have to win every game. Like 8-7.
I think last night the final score, I know the final score was 7-6.
Yep.
Wow, this is like the fourth empty net that Vegas has missed. There's 15 seconds left. But what I got to say is, well, maybe I lost that train of thought, but could you just imagine if Colorado has like an Ottinger or a Howard?
That would have been nice for them.
Didn't they? But one Byron for Markstrom, would have you been happy and a pick?
No, not a chance.
You don't like Byron and a peg? If it's a Byron and a first, that's a lot. That's a lot to pay for Markstrom, but you're getting a very good goalie. And I think
Colorado needs more like picks immediately.
It's not a close trade if you do that. Just in terms of, again, a top D man for a goaltender.
And a first round pick.
If you're talking Saros, maybe. But...
We got away a little bit. I said we wouldn't. We did get away from Dallas and Dallas and Vegas. And by the way, Vegas just wrapped it up, and they showed Mark Stone, and he looks like his spleen is perfectly fine. But. Let's just we gotta stay at Colorado and Winnipeg. Did you guys
on the
watch
series?
The game? I actually didn't watch that game.
There were parts of that game that I watched potentially more than I think I saw the end of it, as opposed to even the Vancouver-Nashville one. That was mostly because I was working on this stuff,
right?
Timing wise, and I had to get up early the next day. But I got to watch the end of it, and Colorado looked lethal, and maybe they should have left the goalie pulled because they were unreal in making a comeback. Because it was it 7-4, and they made it 7-6.
It was definitely I know they scored late.
Yeah, and the guy they got in the trade, Middlestat, even scored the sixth goal.
It was 7-4 with about 12 minutes to go in the third. Colorado scores with 8 minutes to go in the third. Colorado scores their sixth goal with 30 seconds left.
Yeah. So not a lot of time left there. And I mean, if you score 6 goals, you expect to win. If you score 7 goals, you also expect to win.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I couldn't
believe it.
Winnipeg is a good team, and they could go far. I don't know if they'll win the cup, but they're certainly a contender this year. And I think Colorado is a good test for them. But also a good matchup in that, again, you have the advantage with your goaltender.
Yes.
Guys, I think Winnipeg's better than Dallas. Like, I was waiting to...
honestly, because...
I just think that it's a thing, and I think that Dallas is like a team where they're going to lose first round this year to a incredibly seasoned, grilled, cutting with a butter knife piece of playoff meat.
I don't think that's a knock on Dallas.
No, because we're going to look at
Dallas
and be like, you know what, maybe they're a couple of years away. Even though Ben's going to be like late 30s and probably Sagan.
Expired contract, get rid of them. Not this year, but I'm just saying when that happens.
No, like I know a better team with JB Ben on it. I think they're going to be like, they're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. And I just think that's what it's going to look like. And I think Vegas is going to be at 6. It's a tight game, 4-3. I said we wouldn't do it.
You keep going back to that series.
I know. I just want to give you an update on the shots, and then I like the power plays. They got the first period, though. That was huge. Those were the first period shots. Oh. Guess what the shots were. Just guess.
After the first, or
total shots.
Between Dallas and Vegas?
Full shots in the third period.
My guess.
That's 3 more than the Islanders.
Just this is interesting. Guess.
Let's go with
contradicting of what I'm throwing down.
Let's go with 36 for Dallas and 24 for Vegas.
30 for Dallas, 15.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know.
No shooting.
Vegas got 2 for 2 on the power. There's only 4 penalties called in that game, and obviously it was 0 for Dallas. But let's jump back to now we just reviewed the stats. We got to review the stats for the
Winnipeg, Colorado
game. Yeah, 13 goals.
I think most of those goals happened in the first and third. Yeah.
Carr 3 points, Gino an assist, Lehkonen goal and assist, McKinnon goal and assist. I have no clue who M Wood is.
Miles Wood.
Yeah, you nerds.
This guy's a gritty guy. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I think they're our third line, like,
I think so, yeah.
Connor, they're going to need this guy to be the man.
And
2 goals
Scheifele.
and an assist. Scheifele, a goal and 2 assists.
Charlie Connor is the man, though, to be fair.
Yeah,
Well, I just want to establish not to slouch on Scheifele, because a couple years back when they did have their run, he was like close to goal per game. Like we should pull up
awesome.
Scheifele's stats, because
he's the kind of guy that someone's going to pick up in like 2 or 3 years at whatever.
they just
and he's
extended
gonna-
him for 8
They
years.
extended him at 8 years. Yeah.
Same with Hellebuck.
They're sticking around.
You know what? I'm going to pretend that I didn't say that.
We're going to interrupt you
Yeah,
and
just-
tell
just-
you how wrong you are and
Yeah.
how dialed up in we are.
That's why I appreciate keep the grid in line, you nerds. There's no way that there's going to be 13 more goals scored in another game.
I don't think so. Simply because I don't think Hellebuck is going to be. Because Hellebuck wasn't good. He let in 6 goals. That's not good.
He still made 44 saves or something. He made a lot of shots, didn't he?
They had 50 shots.
I thought they did. Maybe I could
46
be wrong.
shots. They had 46 shots. So you know what? That's still 40 saves. You're not wrong.
Okay, yeah.
But even still, those still aren't great numbers. Like that's
Winnipeg?
Yeah.
that's an 870 save percentage. I don't think Connor Hellebuck's gonna have an 870 going the rest of the way. I think he's gonna be better than that.
I might have one more game. Colorado is that lethal.
I know exactly. Colorado is really gonna have to just dominate for offense there.
Yeah,
But
and get some better goaltending.
yes, I think as long as Georgiev is playing like that, I don't think they have a legitimate chance.
I think if they do give Georgiev another game at some point, if he goes back for game 2, I don't think he'll be as bad. He might still have a bad performance, but do you think that, like, if Annion's healthy, do you think that Bednar is going to be content to go with him for game 2? Because he said earlier on, like a couple weeks back, that like going into the playoffs, Georgiev was their guy.
Yeah.
And then he puts up the numbers he did.
Yeah, I think Georgiev is gonna get a game 2, even if Annion's healthy. I think if he has a start like he did in game 1, he's getting pulled. But if he comes in and puts up relatively similar numbers to what he did, I think it's another case where you have to go to your other guy for game 3. But I can see Georgiev doing like fine. Like Georgiev having an 870 for the rest of the series, I would buy. Now those are numbers I think are realistic.
Yeah.
I feel like even though there was 13 goals scored, I feel like this is like a series that's going to like attract more of like our time and talk about like.
I agree.
think
Yeah.
this one's going 7 for sure. I think this is why spend like whenever we do our next podcast here coming up pretty soon. I think that this is going to be one we're going to be staying with.
If not Vancouver, this is, we're probably going to do this at the end, but if not Vancouver, this is a series I would go to watch a game.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You blew it.
Yeah, wait.
I wanted to jump on top of that. I wanted to be the first one.
So you said it. The Big V, the Canucks, they won me and my buddy like $150 last night.
Wow.
Picked them when they were down. Yeah, and that was awesome. 2 goals in 12 seconds. We actually watched that at a friend's house. There was so much food there. Like to say I got the meat sweats was like an understatement. There was like ribs, wings, sausage,
I love ribs.
chicken. Like there was a lot of food there. Like it was. I'm not even a big pop guy. I think I drank 3 Coke Zeros. Anyways.
Back to hockey.
It was an amazing watch. You should have seen this projector. We watched on a projector the thing is like 9 inches tall and it's a little chubby thing. And it was incredible. And it was so loud. It was like the perfect volume coming to these things. Anyways.
You'll have to invite us next time.
Yeah, it was. Well, it wasn't my party to invite people to, but there was so much food. You could have invited your whole family. It was
I will.
Yeah, like, good to know. Good to know.
Canucks won. Boy, that was sweet. And like, yeah, I might have been at like 3.5 times your money when there was like 16 minutes left in the third, and they scored again.
I imagine that.
Did you yell? Where were you?
I was downstairs.
Did you jump
working on the podcast for episode 1 still. Yeah, he was watching the game upstairs on the TV, and my mom was watching as well. And yeah, I mean, he messaged me and stuff just because I wanted to stay focused. But
I want to stay focused.
I wasn't concerned.
Crunch time.
It's game one.
Actually,
it's game one.
I wanted to ask with your betting there. Are you trying to make up money? Because you said you bet on Nashville to win the series. You're trying to make up money by betting on.
He's right.
Yeah,
he's right.
Right. I did 2 bets. I did a $30 bet with someone, and then a $10 bet with some older guy, Boutson's husband. We always have these bets, and we bet the Leafs were gonna win for $10. I bet the Leafs were gonna win for $10. He bet the opposite. And then Vancouver was going to win. So if none of them win, it's a push. If one or the other wins and the other doesn't, then someone's paying. But yeah, no, I just felt that Vancouver was going to score. And I said to my brother, like, they're paying like 3.5 times their money. We put some money in there, and he's like, let's hammer it, and we did, and we won.
From the parts that I saw. It seemed like, well, mainly I watched like mainly the beginning for like the first 10 or so. They looked like they were hitting a ton.
Yes.
And you mentioned before you were talking like that wasn't going to be a gritty series, and I was thinking in my head, I didn't get to say it last episode, but Nashville has the top hitter in Lauzon, and the rest of their team, because you don't know their forwards' names, they probably hit a ton, and they do.
Don't forget about Zadorov. He almost killed someone.
And Vancouver is a physical team. Like, this series is going to be more gritty than people think, just because they're not heavyweight teams.
The gloves, is there? There's not as much fighting, I guess, as there used to be. No one's going to, like, throw down, and I just didn't think the scrum factor was going to be a big thing.
Maybe.
But there was some big boys. I always forget about number 57, the big guy.
Myers?
Yeah, Myers. I couldn't think of his name last night, too. I was, like, embarrassed because there was a bunch of Canucks fans. But Zadorov and Myers are playing together, and they're, like, from what I see, once again, you reminded me, it's just game one game. But they look good. Like, I like what I've seen from them, and they are manhandling people.
I feel like Zadorov has almost given Myers, like, he's like, here, let me show you how you play physical. Because Myers...
Let me show you how we put the Russian.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, Myers needed a little bit of Russian in him. He hasn't been a very physical defenseman.
Physicality. I'm not saying any Russian.
No, just like, there's a Russian, like...
Only a few good Russian hitters of all time.
What? Most Russian players are very physical.
He's right. You want to drop the mitts with Ovi? No thanks.
Hey, really? That's the guy?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, 100%.
Actually, I wanted
He's tough as nails.
Yeah.
But, like, don't get into, like, these... What?
Yeah, well, he's not like a Tom Wilson where he's going to go around elbow, but he will hit you in corners. He will...
Russians
you could Google, YouTube.
Weak and wimpy, except for a handful of them. Okay, who are the best four Russian hitters of all time?
That's 4. Okay, well, it was Fedorov.
God, I could give you the best 5 American.
You got to remember,
5
a lot of this stuff is before we were born.
And nerds don't know.
The Russians didn't get in the league till like the early 90s.
Nerds don't know physicality. We know stats and numbers.
I do, and I'm telling you right now, Zadorov is tough. He's from Russia, but traditionally Russians are not.
I want to point something out. In one of their final games in the regular season, the Tampa Bay Lightning played the Washington Capitals. Nikita Kucherov elbowed Tom Wilson in the face.
Yeah.
Kucherov is an absolute maniac. If he's willing to elbow Tom Wilson in the face, imagine what he'll be willing to do to you. Like, No one wants to go into the chorus, but
That's not the biggest Russian album of all time. It's when Pavel Bure, Damon, they would know who was it. It wasn't Churla. It was someone way back in the day for Dallas. Just type in Pavel Bure elbow, and it's a real thing. It's probably one of the dirtiest things that has happened in 25 years.
Yeah, you showed me that a month or so ago.
Anyways, we're off the track. Well, let's get back on the Canuck track. And I said this right from the beginning. We need Miller to score. I say we. Like I'm like half of a foot in the door with the Canucks. PD's got to perform, but what about this guy that just came out of nowhere? This Joshua guy. Everyone was telling me how
legend Dakota Joshua.
I didn't know how good he is. I'm like he's a big, strong dude. He got 2 goals and an assist, and his info says he is a U.S. boy from Michigan, 6'3", 206.
I need to say, so I was all over the place with my Canucks last episode, and I brought up their lineup and stuff. But I said this: they don't necessarily need their top guys to show up right now.
Yeah.
They need to play. It's going to be a team effort. I said if Garland, you were saying like Garland can't be their top scorer. Garland could be. Joshua could be. This is a series against Nashville. We just want to win the series.
Yes.
And it's all about having multiple lines. Like if our third line now, if it's Joshua, Lindholm, and Garland, and they're scoring, and we have 2 other lines of PD and then another line of Miller, like this is what actually puts us in the conversation of we could go to the finals. Like we could.
This Joshua guy last night reminded me of Nicholas Paul's coming out party a couple years ago in the playoffs. You guys remember that? They're almost the same. Paul's 6'3", 230. They like this could be this Joshua's guy's coming out party. Canucks fans apparently already know about him, but yeah, hopefully if he can just like stay on it, it's one game. I say stay on it there. If he can continue to keep contributing and being effective and being physical and somehow having multi-point games, then this could definitely be.
It's been a career year for him.
It could be. That someone said that to me last night as well too. Like he's been really good all year, and he is surprising maybe to other people, like including myself. But fans know what's up.
He was hurt for a bit, and they did not look the same with him. And then bringing him back, and it was like, oh gosh, we're going to put him in the top 6. They did put him with Miller and such, and I think they put him with PD at a time. Him and Garland,
18 points in 63 games, 32 points.
Yeah,
Josh is he's loaded over there. What's up?
I was just going to shout out Flames legend Elias Lindholm with the first goal of the series for Vancouver.
And that's a guy. Like, that's a guy that had, like, it rough. And it's like the playoffs are a new season. Absolutely. If you score a goal, if you score the first goal for your team, all of a sudden, narrative changes completely.
100%.
So, yeah, I'm really happy for Lindholm, and I hope that he continues his success because... You know, that's what Canucks fans, I think, want to see. That we may have a lot of guys, because a lot of our guys are pending UFAs going next year.
Success with Elias Lindholm. And so it's just like, hey, man, if this guy can help us go deep, right on.
That's what you're looking for.
Wear a Canucks jersey after this year. Mm-hmm. And maybe, hopefully, the idea is he'll have a Canucks Stanley Cup ring on his mantle.
Yeah, exactly. If he helps you win the cup, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
well, that's it.
Like, you win the cup, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I'm looking forward to future, like after the playoffs and talking about the Canucks contracts and who they could sign and what numbers. Like I as a nerd, I'd love to get into that sort of stuff. But yeah, we got to focus on
stay with us. And, I think we're ready to wrap, right? Like for me, that was a good little session.
That was very good.
I think this Vancouver series is going to be very good. All the series in the West are going to be excellent, like for different reasons too. Because again, Dallas, Vegas, you probably have the 2 best teams in the West, in my opinion.
Yeah, arguably,
the best teams at the very least. Colorado and Winnipeg is well, it was insane in that first game. Who knows what's going to happen? That Nashville and Vancouver, it's going to be very
stellar.
Yeah, no, it was great.
His team a chance to win that hockey game. He made a couple in-tight saves in the second period there, and then later in the second half of the third when they were playing with the lead. He's the man. I'm a big Demko fan.
I would like to bring up as well. Currently, it is 7 minutes into the third for the Oilers game. The Oilers are now winning 6-2.
How many points did McDavid?
McDavid has 5 assists and a hat trick.
Yeah.
The Kings need to be better.
If you guys were willing to not suggest that.
Well, no, we both take the Oilers to win.
I'd say Oilers in 5.
I think the Kings is going to have better.
Just suggested that you wouldn't be surprised if the Oilers lost.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Oilers have a fantastic first game and then they proceed to fall flat on their face for the rest of the series and lose.
Wow.
I also would not be shocked if McDavid puts up 5 assists in the next 3 games and the Oilers sweep.
Yeah.
Anything can that is the series where I think anything can happen, and I would not be shocked about anything.
I think there's more series that I think can happen, but we wouldn't be surprised if McDavid leaves that round with 19 points, would we?
Based on LA, like, again, if a game gets out of hand and it's not close, then that's where this first game, it got out of hand. I'm not surprised that Oilers blew away. It's going to be game 2 is kind of how you're probably going to see the series. If LA loses badly again, I know it's in Edmonton, but if they lose badly again, then I would be a bit concerned. I think LA needs to keep the games close. They need to keep the series close in order to win the series for sure. But also just for momentum, I think they have to. They're going to have to play a lot better than how they.
I don't even necessarily think they need to win game 2. Obviously, if you're LA, you want to walk away with a split. I don't think them being down 2-0 heading home is like a death sentence per se. Depending how they lose. If they lose 2-1 to like in game 2. You're probably like, okay, well, not good, but we can come back.
They played better, right?
You get blown out 6-2 again, you're feeling a lot worse.
Mm-hmm. Quick recap, just so you know where we're at out there, listeners. Rangers are up 1-0 in the series. Carolina 2-0. Florida 1-0. Toronto and Boston 1-1. Vegas freshly tonight's got a 1-game series stranglehold. The Oilers are going to Vancouver in a dramatic comeback. 2 goals in 12 seconds, up 1-0. And Winnipeg wins a shootout against Colorado. Up 1-0. Well, we'll probably get back halfway through round 1 to reconvene here. Thank you so much for listening. Another long one. That's okay. We're just going to get the whole thing trying to come together. Right now, we're just having fun putting out episodes. We're going to try to, the whole deal, whatever that means with this thing. You got to get you guys to get extra nerdy. Josh, you on that Twitter, and Aaron, you get your little debugging audio stuff, and I'll just I'll be the grit.
Yeah, he is with grit.
He is with grit. Yeah, we are the nerds, and you are with grit.
Nerds with Grit Hockey Podcast. Thank you again so much, boys. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you and catch up with you halfway through the first round, whatever that looks like. Once again, my name is Big T, Josh, and Aaron. My nerds. Until next time. Talk to you very soon.